First and foremost, thanks to PTM, who, because the times have never been good, but in these testing times, have organized this conference on about the plight of oppressed nations, the subjugated nations, the humiliated nations, the enslaved nations, the marginalized nations of Pakistan. And today, when I stand here, my heart is filled with sorrow and pleading with the suffering of the Baloch nation, of the Pashtun nation, of the Kashmiri nation, of the Saraiki nation, and of the Sindhi nation. We who have gathered here today, what is common among us? Our tormentor is same. Our suffering is same. We are in it together and we have to come out of it together. There is no other way. We have been talking about for the last 70 years, it's not today, 75 years. This didn't start yesterday or today or last year or this year or 10 years ago. It started from the day this state was formed. It is very, very important for us to look at our history, to read it, and your hearts will start bleeding. Forget about we belong to these nations. But for any person, any human being who has got little bit of conscience, who has got little bit of concern about the humanity, about humans, it is their duty to come out and support and help us, the millions of the people of oppressed nations. The other speakers, they have talked about the human rights atrocities. You talk about enforced disappearance, we talk about enforced disappearances, extrajudicial killings, taking our resources, deleting our socio-cultural values, our languages, even not recognizing. Just imagine. We nations, Baloch, Sindhis, Pashtuns, Kashmiris, Saraikis, we existed for thousands of years. They say you are not nation. They are denying our existence as a nation, as human beings. While, as I said, let me say, look at their ways. The Manzoor Pashtun disappeared. The way they dealt with the long march of the Baloch, women, children, elderly. Forget about us, let the world to see. And I would like to get this opportunity that while Sindhi nation go through all these suffering and atrocities as you all do, there are a couple of things that I want to bring to your kind notice that is threatening our existence as a nation. When in 1947, Sindhis made 89% of the population of Sindh. And do you know what happened? Within 1 year, 40% of population of Karachi, 70% of population of Hyderabad, and like close to 50-60% of all the cities they were coerced to leave. And there is a systematic demographic engineering that is even threatening that we Sindhis will be even in majority on our historical model. And this is happening to all nations, but to the greater extent to Sindhi nation. And now they say you are about 60%. So from 89% to 60%. This is threatening even our right to exist as a nation. And secondly, there is a large scale. Say, for example, the military announced that we want, the country is short of money. Therefore, we want 1.3 million acres of lands of Sindhi people. And they recently landed, we are taking 53,000 acres of land, and they are taking these patches. While currently 40 million acres of agricultural lands, about 40% of Karachi lands, they belong to army, are their proxies. So they are taking our lands under our feet, so where will we stay? While my children, they are dying of hunger. Every year, more than 5,000 children die of malnutrition in Sindh. 70% of Sindhi people, they suffer malnutrition. And they are taking our lands, even the resource, the food, that the last resort. How will we survive? Now, one thing that is advantage to us, that this state is becoming more and more exposed. Now the word, because previously we used to say that, look, this is an army state. This is an army state. This is an army state. Probably many people couldn't see, but now even the international world, I mean, they knew it early. But because of their internal conflicts, and because states don't run on that, not only state, even if you cannot run a house like that as the state of Pakistan was run. They are crumbling. Can you see it? They are literally begging for every penny. And as they are begging for every penny, they are becoming more and more aggressive. They want to take over everything that we have. They want to eat everything that we have. They want to curb every vice with more ruthlessness and violence than they used. They are becoming more violent. They are becoming more aggressive. They are becoming more cruel, and they don't want to hide. Because now, I mean, there are other military dictatorships in the world, but there is no, this is research, social research based, that there is no other military dictatorship is as controlling and powering, maybe it political, I mean, you see that it is exposed, economic, legal, everything. They just, previously they used to, we say, macro manage. They are now managing to micro level, even every minutest detail, and in that process they are becoming more and more exposed. Now, this state has thrived. It was built for the purposes of conflict. This is the only reason. They have not only destroyed Balochs and Sindhis and Pashtuns and Saraikis and Kashmiris, they have destroyed all the neighboring states. So look at Afghanistan. Used to be beautiful country. When I was there 50 years ago, honestly, when I remember, what was Kabul? I do not know how many have you seen Kabul 50 years ago. It was such a beautiful. They destroyed it with this Afghanistan. You can't really compare. They destroyed it. They destroyed Kashmir. They divided it. They try to basically run these religious extreme philosophy. They destroyed it. They are not only they have committed crimes to all of us, they have committed crimes to everyone who was bordering with them. will we be able to bring the perpetrators? These are not thousands, hundreds of thousands, and these are millions of people, and those people who have gone suffering. Isn't it our duty? Isn't it our duty to bring to these perpetrators to justice? To bring justice to all these people who have gone before us. To bring to justice of all these millions of people who continue to suffer humiliation, slavery, indignity, everything taken under their feet. We, the oppressed nations, we are 150 people. We are not a small number. That 150 million people is the larger number than any country except Russia in the entire Europe. All other countries are less than 150 million people. We are more than that. 100. We can do it. And we have to do it. Now, as they know, Pakistan's state knows they are getting weaker because they thrived on conflicts. Their geostrategic importance, which was purely due to us, the oppressed nations. Each one has got their slice or component of that is declining. Now, they are trying to create conflicts again. For example, when these military rulers, they went to America, they tried to woo again US. They need another conflict, because if there becomes there emerges a conflict, they will get money. And that is how they have done. So, two things. I think at the end of the day, that the struggle for emancipation, for freedom, at the end of the day is determined by the people on the ground. But in the world that we live, we know international community plays, and their support plays a much bigger role. And therefore, here comes the duty of the diaspora, because we are sitting outside. We have to generate the international support. We have to create awareness, because it's really very important to look at us and look at our resources. Then there is a state who has taken all our resources. They are using all that resources, and they've got this experience of intelligence agencies and operations and genocides of hundreds of years, not only during this after creation of Pakistan. Even after creation of Pakistan, they committed genocide in Bangladesh, killing 3 million people, raping more than 200,000 women. So they know it. They are having a strategy. And strategy is, number one, they want to crush us. And therefore, it is our duty to support all the struggles on the ground, to resolutely, against the odds, to stand up. Two, that although we all have been in very loose alliances, we have been going for years together. And wherever we are together. But we need to sit together, because in the world, nothing works without a strategy. The diaspora organization have to have a strategy. They need to sit together to have, like, say, for example, between the country, their memorandum of understanding. We should have a document of memorandum of understanding. And where because things would happen. We always happen together. Wherever you are, we all are together. We never. But there should be when there is a saying, business has to be done like a business. We have to have formal things that look after, that follow, that monitor, that evaluate, and we need to have common strategies. In the next year, we have common protest across Europe of Balochs and Pashtuns and Sindhis and Kashmiris we should have. And as an objective, next year, we all the oppressed nations should have a combined march to Islamabad, telling that you want to divide us, we are not divided. They will try to divide us. They will try to divide us. They will put their agent provocators to divide. They will try, because that is the most successful strategy of the occupying forces, to divide us. They would like to divide us within our nations, and between the nations we have to fail it. They will try to. We need to understand that. As they have been ruling through collaborators from our nations. Who's People's Party? People's Party are Sindhis, they're collaborators. And likewise, they have collaborators in Balochistan. They have got collaborators in Pakhtunkhwa. They have got collaborators in Kashmir. They are collaborators everywhere. But they do not represent us. They are their collaborators. And there always have been collaborators. So, next time we have a joint march of Baloch, Pashtun, Kashmiri, Sindhi nation to Islamabad. Let them fire on us. Let them fire. Let them stop us. But the message will go to the world that we oppressed nations. Enough is enough. When the people who do not want to remain in slavery, they cannot be kept indefinitely in slavery.
And I think we should also march from different headquarters of the Europe to the UK.
Yes, agreed.
In front of the
Yes.
Prime Minister House.
Yes. There is a saying.
Good idea.
There is a saying that a cause is not worth to live for if it is not cause worth to die for. What can be better cause to live for and to work for, to bring our people out of this slavery, suffering, humiliation, indignity, death, bring them to freedom, to dignity, to peace and prosperity. And though it appears to be that night is getting dark, but before the sun rises, the night will get darkest. This night is getting darkest, and this suggests that the sun will rise. The sun, let me work for that sun to rise, and sun to rise for our nations. Let me work for it. This is the cause worth to live for. This is the cause worth to die for. And lastly, we should never forget those who suffered, who humiliated, who lost their lives in this path for our freedom, for our dignity, to bring our motherlands and our destiny for our own people. I would request you to rise for 1 minute and silent to pay tribute to them. Thank you very much. That son of freedom, son of control, to be owner of our destiny and of our lands, is sooner rather than later. Let you work for it. Thank you very much.